All right, so you lost a deal on Thursday, but that's not the part that damaged you. The part that damaged you happened 10 minutes later when you were alone in your car and you say, I always do this. Because now you're not talking about the deal anymore. You're talking about you. And that changes what happens next. Friday, you don't send the follow-up. Monday, you tell yourself you're just giving it some space, letting it cool off a little. And then 3 weeks later, the opportunity's dead, and you have all the evidence you need to say, see, I always do this. No, you lost one deal, and then you train the loss for 3 weeks. Martin Seligman spent decades studying this, and one of the things that he found was that people who struggle after setbacks tend to explain them as permanent and pervasive. They say things like, this always happens, or I'm terrible at this, or nothing's working, or whatever. Those sentences feel like observations, but they're not. They're actually instructions, because if the problem is you, if it always happens, if nothing is working, what exactly are you supposed to do next? Nothing. You've described a problem with no move left in it. That's why you're telling yourself to be more disciplined doesn't solve this. The problem started before discipline ever even entered the room. It started with the story you attached to what happened. Operators get more precise. They don't say, I always blow these deals. They say, I lost this deal because I handled the price objection poorly. Now we have something we can work with. See, one is an identity, the other is a problem. And problems can be trained and solved. So, make another call. Not because you're pretending the loss doesn't matter, not because you're trying to just think positive, but because you're refusing to let one bad outcome become a permanent description of who you are. There's a line in Lamentations 3 that I love. Jeremiah has just described an absolutely brutal season of his life. He doesn't deny it or sugarcoat it. He says, this I recall to my mind, therefore I have hope. He chooses what truth he's going to carry forward. See, that's the move. You don't need a better story, you just need a more accurate one. Name what happened. Find the part that you can train. Then move before the story sets. Because everything trains you, even what you tell yourself on the drive home. You are a man who decides, even on the day you don't. So save this one. You're going to need it after a bad day.